All right. Nokkie Lipsey is a hospitality thought leader and mental wellness advocate with over 25 years of experience spanning back-of-house roles to exclusive leadership. As a first-generation Thai American, she is committed to building inclusive, empathetic workplaces that center people over profit. Nokkie currently serves as the Director of Operations for Olive and Finch Collective, where she leads with empathy, develops emerging leaders, and builds sustainable systems that honor both care and excellence. Her career includes operational leadership for Michelin-recognized and James Beard awarded restaurant groups, with a focus on infrastructure that supports both high performance and team well-being. She is a proud mentor with the James Beard Foundation's Legacy Network, helping historically excluded hospitality professionals grow into leadership. Noki serves at Eat Denver's DEI task force, working to increase equity and access across Colorado's independent restaurant scene. She also supports One Kitchen, a nonprofit platform that amplifies chefs' voices to advocate for food access and security policies that positively impact communities. Through her work with CHOW, Noki champions a future where hospitality professionals are supported holistically, not just as workers, but as whole people. Her leadership is rooted in care, equity, and mentorship, and she is passionate about dismantling burnout culture and creating systems that nourish those who serve others. And with that, I will pass it to Noki.
Thank you so much. Talk about imposter syndrome when I hear that out loud. But I just wanted to thank everyone for joining me and listening to my story today. I was asked to come and be a guest speaker on today's meeting. I am not here as someone who's figured it all out, but someone who almost lost myself trying to figure it all out. This industry has taught me how to move fast, speak sharp, and make magic happen under pressure. But I feel like the one thing it didn't teach me was to reset and slow down, or also how to lead with a full heart and an honest no. So I also had to learn that the hard way by always being the yes person. So I wanted to kind of touch base a little bit of the hurdle and the heartbreak. The hardest part for me wasn't or hasn't been the grind. I think all of us in the industry, we know how to grind. We're really, really good at it. I know how to hustle. I think the struggle for me was learning how to sustain myself while doing it. My rock bottom wasn't one dramatic collapse or one real moment. It was 1,000 quiet days where I pushed through, smiling when I didn't want to, pouring to my teams from an empty cup, and continuing to show up with professionalism because that's what we do. So that was just kind of something that I was always ingrained in my mind of how we showed up as leaders. Being promoted into leadership roles, I also realized that I was expected to produce results without ever being taught how to lead people. So I wasn't really set up to thrive. I was more set up to survive. And I also realized that being promoted from doing something that you're really good at to leading people is two totally different things. So that was when I noticed a lot of where that feeling was coming from was taking on other people's emotions and their needs and being that person that people really needed to lean on. So I wanted to share a little bit of the story of the struggle. There was a time I was leading operations for multiple restaurants. Everyone saw all the accolades we were receiving, the press, the packed dining rooms, but no one ever saw me crying in my car in between driving from one location to the next. No one saw me skipping meals because I was working 12-hour shifts and never had time to stop because I was in meetings after meetings after meetings. I was forgetting my daughter's school events and saying yes to everything to prove that I deserve a seat that I was already sitting at. So one day I was in the walk-in, our safe space, hiding from my team, just so I could take a breath. And, I realized that while I was sitting there, that my only safe space was in a refrigerator. It was it was when I was heated and I needed to regulate my body temperature, and it seemed like the only place that could actually give me that moment to, one, feel the temperature change to know that I'm perfectly okay and alive and breathing, and two, a very, very quiet moment where most walk-in refrigerators do not have cell service. So, great way for nobody to text me, Slack me, call me, email me. And it was that moment when I knew that my leadership wasn't really leadership. It was just kind of survival masked in success. Overachievers really often don't acknowledge that we're always pushing and hustling, and our overachieving self, we don't often give each other ourselves grace. But we're always ready to uplift and empower others. So I was kind of just sitting there realizing that I was not practicing what I was preaching to my teams. So in that position, I ended up leaving that role, not because I didn't feel like I was leaving that role because I was weak, but because I was kind of done pretending to be strong all the time and realizing that the space and the environment that I was in did not provide safe spaces for me. So maybe it was just the environment, and removing myself out of that was the first thing. So as I was looking for new places to be at, I wanted to find companies that really believed in wellness, work-life balance. They cared about teams and people. And I've been in this industry 25 years. 20 years ago, that stuff didn't exist. You had to be tough. You had to get through it. A woman of color like myself didn't really. I also had to work a little harder to prove a point. So for me, it was something that wasn't accessible to me, or even, um, nor would I ever be able to see a pathway to see sustainability and healthy work life culture. Um, I ended up finding my current space, which is super amazing. They're all about people culture. And I really wanted to start building the kind of leadership that I wish I had. In my entire career, I've been creating training systems rooted in empathy. I made space for overlooked ones. I stopped apologizing for needing boundaries and not feeling guilty about it. And then I started writing. This started turning into a book called Pre-Shift. So I am currently writing a book called Pre-Shift, and it's a love letter to middle managers, to service industry leaders, and the ones holding it all together, like everyone on this call. So that has been kind of like my outlet. And I would love to share some of the tools that I use to kind of keep me grounded, because this has been like a learning journey of how we manage this type of high stress environment. As great as we are front facing, our bodies do not handle high stress very well. So my number one thing that I do, and as you guys saw, I was in the car, I was leaving from the gym, I lift. I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, depending on what my work schedule is. But gym is my therapy. When my mind is spiraling, when I have a rough day, even when I have not had enough sleep, exercise gives you serotonin and it makes you feel better. So I train my body, and somehow all of a sudden everything kind of just feels a little bit better. So I like to say I put my feelings in my side inside my muscles, and that's why I work out so much. I tend to plants. I love watching things grow because, I give it a little love and nurturing. It's what we do in the industry anyways. We're caring for others all the time. So naturally, instead of caring for people, when you've done that all day, I come home and I take care of my plants because, one, they don't talk back, and two, they're always happy when you're caring for them. And then a few other ones. I build systems that work for people, not for profit. If we're looking at larger pictures of how we can make impact, and change our culture, we do it within our four walls and the environments that we're in and the organizations we work for. So I build systems that work with people, not just for profit. I honor my energy now. It's important. I don't grind 100% on my low days. When I'm not having a good day, you're probably not going to get the most from me. And I'm going to be real about it. I don't think it's a weakness. I think it's just setting boundaries of, I just don't have the capacity and I'll be able to get X, Y, and Z done. But at the end of the day, work will always be there tomorrow and they can have it tomorrow. So I really have done a lot better with honoring my energy. And most importantly, the biggest thing for me is I've learned how to say no, because every no that I say to projects is a bigger yes for more important things that I should be focused on. So instead of burying myself, saying yes to everything, I've learned to say no. Also, because I've navigated this industry as a woman of color. I've said yes to everything, and I've like literally drove myself crazy. And now I'm like, no, this is me, my authentic self. You're gonna love it or not. And that's just kind of that's how we roll. Like, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. But this is how I'm going to continue to be. So, needless to say, we aren't built to carry the weight of a broken industry, but we can rebuild it together, one decision at a time, one breath at a time, one rep, and one route at a time. So, the message today, if I can leave you with just one truth, I would love to share with everybody that you are not a machine. You are not here to be efficient. You are here to be whole. Your worth is not tied to your output. You don't have to break to be seen. And you deserve a system that supports your soul and not your schedule. And as I finish out a few more minutes, the difference between then and now, the now right now is, my life is not perfect, but it's authentically mine. I lead from the heart. I say what I mean. I rest without guilt. And I found a way to bring purpose into places where burnt out used to live. And I get to stand here with all of you guys today, knowing that there are others that really feel the same way that I do. And for me, that's healing altogether. So if anything I've said today has made you feel seen, heard, loved, please come find me. Let's connect. I'm on Instagram. You guys can have my email. Nobody has to carry this alone, and we're all just trying to make it and maybe make it a little bit better. So thank you all for being here and choosing yourself. You're not surviving. You're just now starting to live. Thank you. And I'm open to questions.